I want to talk about Mercury retrograde in Cancer and the solar eclipse that is happening and how these things related and interconnected to each other. We're also going to get into the miseducation of the sun and the moon. So let's do a very, very simple breakdown of Mercury retrograde, right? Most people are so familiar with Mercury retrograde, are familiar with Mercury in general, right? Communication, learning, right? You have Gemini. Got my notes right here. You got Gemini, which is the messenger, using their talkative, using their voice, learning, right? And you got Virgo, it's the organizer, details, service to others. And that definitely wraps up into some degree a lot of what Mercury is about. And when it's retrograde, communication, miscommunication, right? And Cancer, we know, rules the fourth house, planetary ruler, the moon. And it's about the emotional space, right? The home, the needs, because the exaltation in Taurus of the moon, right? Protection. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You have the solar eclipse here on the East Coast that is happening on the 21st. And, it's a solar eclipse, new moon, which stems a new beginning. We are beginning to see that a shift is taking place. Now, people who are very energetically inclined, who can read a room, has seen this shift, or knew this shift was going to take place for some time and have seen it already. There are some people who are just catching on, and they think it's a conspiracy. And I love my conspiracy theorist people, but sometimes it's just you're not reading the room. Sometimes you're just not reading the room. And it's a shift for the divine feminine. When we talk about racism, right? When you talk about capitalism, melanated people being the capital, when we talk about women and the patriarchy and the shift of power, right? We saw the Me Too movement become such a force, and Black Lives Matter become such a force. And not to say that these particular movements, women's rights, racial equality hasn't existed before, but to speak to recent times, I bring this up. We are really seeing a shift, and Cancer talks a lot about the past, right? Calling upon the past. We're taking a deep look within our homes, in our emotional base, in our emotional past, to see what needs review, retrograde, review, redoing, re-editing. And with that, with the retrograde can kind of send you into the 12th house, where it is making you think very deeply, subconsciously about things that have taken place and things that need to take place, and what has been in your part in it, what you have done well and what you haven't, and some of the things that you have experienced within all of that as well. Okay, now these are some of the things that are going to come up with the Mercury retrograde in Cancer. You're talking about the United States is a Cancer. July 4th is his birthday. So we are going to have the United States history, right? Juneteenth just happened. The United States history come into play. And, an awesome astrologer, Aquarius Maximus, talked about, Cancer being the sign that rules Black people, melanated people. And really, that is a great wow. That is a really interesting perspective, considering the times and considering the astrological alignments. Because here we are in the midst of really a lot of people learning about their own history as melanated people here in America, and learning that melanated people helped create um, America and were taken advantage of in so many ways. And with the divine feminine, the aspect that kind of gets swept under the rug. I mean, when you talk about leadership and movements, women have spearheaded so much, but don't get the credit for what particularly melanated women spearhead, and they aren't getting the credit that they deserve, um, which is, we know, like we know what happens, right? We know the how things are set up, which really people are taken advantage of. Um, the feminine energy is taken advantage of, and it's not okay. So we have this solar eclipse, this new moon, this new motion, what we're setting in place along with this Cancer, which is considered feminine. And this is somewhat of a miseducation. And the miseducation is this: the sun, right? Natural placement, Leo, fifth house, ruler of children and creativity, is a light bringing, life giving planet and placement. Even though it's commonly associated with the masculine, in astrology, that's not really true. And if you read older texts, quite the opposite. And you have the moon, which rules the fourth house, which is today associated with the feminine, the moon, the emotions, really is what is considered the more masculine planet and placement, because it is reflective. It reflects, right? It supports. It supports the earth. It supports what the sun is doing. It reflects the sun, which is the center of the solar system. It revolves around the sun. So with that being said, when we talk about the divine feminine, we are seeing this miseducation be corrected. We are seeing that, okay, that shift of what the center, what energy is really at the center of the universe. You know what I mean? Of course, the universe is a very, very, very big place, right? But at least our little space and time. We have here, and it's really the feminine energy being in the middle of that. And that doesn't say, and really I'm a big believer that any person carries feminine and masculine energies. I carry feminine and masculine energies. Okay? I'm a Cancer rising, and I have Mars in the first house. All right? So, and people who know me know that I have what other people consider, not what I consider, masculine traits. I'm just gonna make a face. I'm just gonna make a face. Even though generally I come off as a very feminine person, right? Continuing to make faces, because this is not about the social construct of what that needs to be readjusted in and of itself. That's a whole nother video. But just the energetic construct we have here, I mean, what is being done to the mother earth that we are living on, this life-giving planet that houses us, feeds us, nourishes us, gives us air. We can't survive without any of those things. We gotta really update our perspective, and this moon, this masculine energy, is really there for support. And what's really important, what is going to take place, the solar eclipse, this new moon, this new beginning, is the masculine energy really becoming in tune with its emotional side, right? In a healthy way. Because what we have seen is, yeah, you in touch with your emotions, but it's coming out in a really toxic way. Oftentimes it's coming out in a controlling, abusive, Plutonian way, right? Healthy emotional expression, healthy expression of self, healthy expression of needs. During this Mercury retrograde, we're going to revisit how we're going to we're going to revisit this dynamic, this duality of masculine and feminine. And oh my gosh, I mean, so much is going to change. A lot of what, when we talk about toxic masculinity, we're really going to have masculine energy come into such a redevelopment, right? We're going to have so many feminine energies come into power, and really power in a way that is where it's not behind the scenes. No one's discrediting you. No one's taking advantage. No one's saying that your work is theirs, like in a really forward way. Because we have the sun and the moon is 0 degrees, and we have Saturn. We have Saturn in Aquarius also, right? Which is, we know that Aquarius energy. That Aquarius energy is going to take everything and put it on its head and say, hey, look, we're non-conforming, okay? We're doing things our own way. We're mixing it up. And of course, Saturn is building. Saturn is really leading and paving the way, the new way, right? The new world that we will all experience at some point. And we are experiencing in short bursts. We have seen, really the accountability of the masculine becoming more in touch with their emotional side and being free to be vulnerable and expressive and just be free. True freedom, Aquarius, true freedom. Okay? And that the feminine energy can be the center, can lead the way. Really bringing forth the beauty of bringing life and creativity to something and to someone and to people. All right? This is not just, nothing is really just, everything has a meaning. Nothing is just meaningless. Everything has a meaning. But when we're talking about the world and melanated people, we really are seeing both these dynamics of melanated women taking their place in the world, right? The mother, the life giver in so many ways. And we are really seeing the masculine re-enter the 4th house as a supportive figure to the feminine energies. I don't write the astrology, I just report it. But this is what we got going on. So, lean into everything that's going on and just be open. Be open to the new changes and experiences and things that are going to take place, and be supportive. And if you were called to lead. It's your time to step up, right? We're going to be renegotiating all these things during the Mercury retrograde. And when we come out, oh, baby, it's going to be interesting. We're going to have some good news. Some not so good news, but everything happens for a reason. All right. Astro bug out.